It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
Ace does a really good job of using his pivots. It's a real weapon for him. He drives, kind of little bump, pivot, and then he can shoot his little mini fadeaway because of his length and athleticism. But to get a whistle, you do have to play through the point of contact, and I think that Ace is doing a better job of that. I also think that he's doing a better job when he does go to shoot of recognizing that the rules in the NBA protect shooters, and you don't have to contort your body as much as you think. Like, you have the advantage of the rules.
That's Will Hardy talking about our guy, Ace Bailey, obviously, as he's going to continue to get some playing time down the stretch here as we head into, what are we at, the final 29 games? Jazz made some moves, didn't they, man? Lonzo Ball. He's in, he's out, just as quick as that. I think they might make some moves today, talking with some folks over there. They feel like they're really busy. They got a lot of stuff cooking. We'll see what else happens. I know Jock Lawndale was barely here, on his way to Atlanta. So they pick up second-round picks, and then they get cast considerations. And the Jazz are back in action. They playing tonight, Yock? Is that the game? Yeah. The Atlanta Hawks. And Atlanta made a big trade.
The Hawks.
Yeah, they play the Hawks, and Atlanta made that trade for Kuminga and Buddy Hield for Jonathan Kuminga. So and Porzingis hasn't been playing, but they have an opportunity to be a little shorthanded here. So we'll see. We'll see who's available and who plays, because now you made the trade, the big trade, and I was like, by accounts here locally, there's some other folks nationally that maybe don't like the trade, but I think we're thinking at getting just Jaren Jackson in, but we don't want to see a whole lot of Jaren Jackson now. And the Jazz are still going to be shorthanded because the players that they got in the trades, the one that they kept anyway, they're still not going to be here. Certainly Jaren Jackson doesn't need to play because that first-round pick becomes important to the team's development. You could argue that the first-round pick becomes even more important in terms of their pursuit of winning next season. So it is important, obviously, that they continue to lose and get that pick. We'll see what they do today. What's the trade? It was 1 o'clock our time, I think. I think it's 3 o'clock Eastern time.
Correct, yeah.
I'm just going to say 3 o'clock BYU time. BYU
there we
TV
go, BYU time.
BYU TV time, yeah, as they continue to announce everything from the Eastern standpoint, and I don't know why, but it continues to bug me, but nevertheless. So 1 o'clock our time, I wouldn't be surprised if around the edges, if something else is done. We'll see. They helped Cleveland save a bunch of money and picked up a couple of second-round draft choices, and, it's accumulating assets. Obviously, they got rid of the 3 first-round draft choices to get a player like Jackson. I think that was the intent of the trade all along. There's no way that the team was going to use all the draft picks that they have at their disposal out across the next 7 years. And so why not use them? And if you can use the second-round picks to continue to build, that's what it's all about. All right, man. Excited to see what the Jazz can do. Not in the immediacy. I want to see them lose so they can keep the pick. And then next year it is ready to go. Excited for that. That's for sure. I think we all are. I don't think there's any question about that. So, all right, Yak, let's move on.
Hashtag NBA.
The NBA. Yeah. What do you got? Oh, man, that bunch of trades going on. It is hard to keep track of all of them. I wrote them down, so I got to look at the paper. See what I got here. You see my eyes move to the side if you're following us on the video. The Chris Paul going to go to the Raptors. I assume they're going to release him as far as that goes. And then I think the big trade was the Dallas Mavericks overhauling again, right? Anthony Davis on the way to the Wizards. An 8-player blockbuster deal. Now, obviously, for the Mavs, they're looking to build around Cooper Flagg. The Mavs will send Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, Dante Exum, our guy Dante Exum, to the Wizards for Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Marvin Bagley III Marvin Bagley III will go down as one of those players who was drafted ahead of, get ready for this, Luka Doncic.
Well, is he going to be in the same territory of a Sam Bowie? Obviously, famously ahead of
I think
MJ.
he's going to be worse. I think he's going to be worse.
Okay.
Because now, MJ was a better player, obviously, than Doncic because Doncic is very good, and we all think he's a great player. But I think Sam Bowie, he had some injury issues there that prevented him. I'm not sure Marvin Bagley was ever going to be a good player that could have been anything that would be even remotely approximating the second pick, because the Suns went with DeAndre Ayton, who's a big old bust. It seems like he's collecting a paycheck, and that's about it. And then the Sacramento Kings, who have been down for so long, save that run that they had with Vlade and Bibi and who's our other guy, Chris Webber, Stojakovic. Yeah, that was a good slice in Kings history, but that's all it was, man. And other than that, they have been down, and you had a chance to get Doncic. And so the Mavs building around Cooper Flagg, which certainly makes sense. I already referenced the trade of Jonathan Kuminga. The Warriors really blew it because they had a bunch of high picks too that could have continued, or at least smoothed out, maybe continued to keep them contending. I don't think they're contending. I think they're an okay team. Now Jimmy Butler's out, and he'll play a little bit off the bench, obviously. Shooter, been in the league. I think he came out of Oklahoma. Wasn't he? He's a Caribbean kid.
Yeah.
And he can shoot the ball, but he's gone. So we'll see about that, how that works out. I mean, you could say, okay, wow, man, they're going to build around Cooper Flagg. But I think the thing to remember, when they traded Doncic, they had no idea that they would get Cooper Flagg. And it worked out for them that they did get Cooper Flagg because they got the number one pick. And then, of course, he is available. But when they made that trade, that wasn't the case. They wouldn't have had any idea that they lucked out into getting the number one pick of the draft. So, and speaking of my Kings, they lost to the Grizzlies. Last night. So we'll see what happens there. That's about it as far as any games that might be of concern to the Jazz as far as their picks go. Because maybe keep an eye on the Clippers. What happens to the Clippers and the Bucks and the Pelicans? I mean, somebody had to win. The Pelicans beat the Bucks. I'd be concerned about the Bucks, particularly if that's the big name still remaining on the board. Obviously, is Antetokounmpo. If he gets traded today, what happens to the Bucks? And even if he stays, he's not playing. So watch out for the Bucks. It all leads to the just imperative nature that the Jazz lose some more ball games. And each time they get a win, it's like, oh my gosh, we gotta wait now. We gotta wait another game to see if they lose. But the good young players play well. I don't think it's quite a double-edged sword because I think the young players have played well, but it's important that they lose as far as that goes, to be able to keep that pick, and then not just keep the pick, get lucky in the lottery. And at some point, man, they got to get lucky, right? Because they haven't been lucky in that lottery. And now here's the opportunity. So hopefully they can do that when we get to May and finish up the season on a low note, unfortunately, in terms of winning and losing. All right, let's get on to a big story. That would be college basketball.
Hashtag college basketball.
Oh, we had some court stormings, didn't we? Yeah, I think was it Minnesota beating Michigan State? 17 people in Portland were all fired up as the Portland Pilots beat number 6 Gonzaga. And they were a 22.5-point underdog. You never know. I'm saving the worst for the last, or the last for worst. Utah State, wow. Watch that game a little bit there. They just put it on New Mexico. That was like a 3 or 4 point game. I think it was a 4. Utah State put a putback in at the buzzer at the end of the first half to up it from 1-4, or 1-3, I should say. And at that point, you're thinking, all right, this is going to be a ball game. But they just go down to Mexico and just put it on the Lobos in the battle for first place in the Mountain West. They hammer them literally by 20 points. That was impressive. Was it? Yeah, it was 20, wasn't it? 88-68. Was that the final? Something like
Correct.
that.
Yeah, it was 20-point margin.
Yeah. Wow. That was awesome. And man, they moved the ball, play some defense. I gotta say, each time I watch the Aggies play ball, and I've since he's a freshman, Falstaff, he's so good, filling up the stat sheet. What he had, 19 points, 4 or 5 from 3. But he rebounds, he can pass the ball, he can set teammates up to lead to an assist, meaning he can dribble the ball, all that stuff. He's going to give you all he's got defensively. I just think the world of that kid. I think he's an amazing young player. He's a junior now, and so he's still got another year. And he's in a day and age where everybody just bolts at the drop of a hat. He has stayed loyal to his hometown team up there in Logan for Utah State. So high praise for Falstaff. But when I watch the Aggies, what I was going to say is I come away more and more impressed with Calhoun as a basketball coach. He seems to have an idea of the way it has to be for Utah State to play winning basketball. And the team plays that level of competition amongst themselves. They compete for playing time. They do what they're supposed to do. And obviously they compete against the opponent. And I find them to be a fun team to watch. So there you go. The Utes, our guy Smith couldn't throw it in the proverbial ocean last night. What was he? Like 2 of 16, and they're going to struggle. McHenry had 23, but it wasn't enough. ASU beat them, as it looks like the Utes very well could be in line to finish last. They're not going to have the season that they had wanted, but at the same time, we know that Alex Jensen is about rebuilding this team, and he's going to need some time. That's for sure. They've been competitive in some of their games. Now, they let the Devils get out to, a 15, 16-point lead, cut it down to 4, and then couldn't get a stop. And the Devils, I think, hit a 3, and that was all she wrote, and they had to foul at the end, so the margin was a little bit worse than probably maybe the competitive nature of the game. So they're going to battle as the season winds down and then go and try to reload from that perspective. Now, the game of the night here locally, oh my gosh, BYU 99-92, Oklahoma State. Oh, brother. I mean, DeMonte had 36. Yeah, we heard Kevin Young go on after Mormons and all that. How's he explain that to his kids? And I don't understand why.
And we have a statement already this morning from the Big 12, PK.
Uh-oh. What does it say?
My computer is now freezing up. But statement from Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark, quote, "The Big 12 Conference is aware of and is investigating reports of inappropriate chants that occurred during last night's BYU-Oklahoma State men's basketball game. All parties have been notified. The conference has zero tolerance for behavior of this nature and will address the matter in accordance with Big 12 sportsmanship policies," unquote.
So we're going to have thoughts and prayers out to BYU?
Sure seems that way.
Nothing's going to be done. Hire more security and have cameras. I put cameras in there and point them. I would think, now I can't vouch for this across the board, but I would think it would be ignorant students, particularly of the male persuasion, who, as we know scientifically, their brains are not fully formed until they're 25. So, or maybe, how about this? Have DeBonsa teach a Book of Mormon class in each of the institutions in the Big 12, because they were talking about that.
His favorite class, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe a little education, or we're going to stop the game and we're going to require the coach to go ahead and say something, take the mic. That's been done in the past, because if Kevin Young can hear it, the opposing team's coaches have their president, have their athletic director, have their coach, and maybe player. And do they do student body elections in college? Have the student body president do something, say something. But these statements that they put out, they don't do anything. They're pointless, right? There's no repercussions. There's no consequence. Maybe a technical foul. Maybe you lose the game. Maybe if you chant that, we're going to stop the game. The game is over. I don't know. That's obviously way too drastic. So
Well,
probably not.
but to your point,
Go
PK, we have in international soccer, if there are some chants that have been told, if FIFA, if anybody hears them, they will either stop the match until it stops, or they will call the match off. So yeah, there is precedent for something like that.
Yeah, and DJ isn't here today, but you're carrying the banner for soccer, and let me just say, praise the Almighty that you're here to carry the banner for soccer.
You're welcome. I'm just trying to give you some context.
Right, and I need and I think soccer is the standard, and it is the number one sport in the world, obviously. But the Cougars play some freaking defense, and can you act like you care with the basketball in the first half? Just throw it out of bounds. Then at least that gives you an opportunity to get your defense set. My goodness, you are bad. You are a bad defensive team. The last 2 games, teams scored over 90 in a 40-minute game. That's absolutely unacceptable. Come on, Kevin Young. You're supposed to be all that. You got 42 assistants over there wearing black last night. Do something about it, because right now you are underachieving, and it is an embarrassment for the money that you paid, and I'm speaking as a whole, not Kevin Young dealing out money himself. The effort that they're putting forth defensively is a flat-out embarrassment, and I don't take any joy in saying that. I'd much rather talk about a win. But right now, completely and totally unacceptable, and I don't think there's any BYU fan, even the hardcore stick up for them at all costs, would argue with me. All right, let's move on to the NFL.
Hashtag NFL.
Oh, how about this? The Jets, Frank Reich. See you later. His one season in Stanford, that was a weird situation, wasn't it? To Andrew Luck, having him come in and just be the interim coach for a year as Andrew Luck got his feet under him and figured out what to do. Well, he's going to be the OC for the Jets. Now, he's got head coaching experience in the NFL, right? The Colts and the Panthers. And obviously, I just said Stanford, ex-quarterback. And so we'll see what the Jets can do there. We'll see what happens in the draft, too. What direction do the Jets go? Do they make moves? What are they going to do at quarterback? That's always going to be the question. So LaFleur down in Arizona. It's got to be the younger brother. I mean, and I know he's the brother, but he's got to be the younger brother of the Packers coach, right? And he used to be. Wasn't he Salah's OC with the Jets when Zach Wilson was there?
He was there, and yeah, it did not go well.
Yeah. And so now he's in the circle that just keeps spinning around and around. Nathaniel Hackett, Paul Hackett's son, is going to be the coordinator for Arizona, the offensive coordinator. We'll see how that happens, what happens there. As the Cardinals, they, outside of a couple of runs that they've had, they've been mostly crappy in their 40 years. I think it's coming up. It might be 40 years this year, if I remember, when they moved to Arizona. Mahomes Sr., my gosh, arrested again. Authorities said he violated his probation from a conviction of driving while intoxicated, DWI. He was sentenced to 5 years of probation after pleading guilty in August of 24 to a DWI charge. And he had a high alcohol reading on his ankle monitor in January. So he seems to have an issue there. That is serious and not to be taken lightly, but I don't know what's going on with him. Hopefully he gets some help if he needs it. All right, college football is up next.
Hashtag college football.
Yeah, I saw this. I'm glad you put this on the rundown. Washington quarterback Damon Williams had a short-lived decision to leave the Huskies. It was a mistake that resulted in, quote, definitely being 19. You get good advice and you get really bad advice at times. We're all human. We all make mistakes. At the end of the day, I'm super blessed to be here with my brothers and my coaches. And just at the University of Washington, I'm just so happy to be here and be blessed, so blessed. Well, I think he had to do that, right? To his teammates. It's like, wait a second, you left, and then there was some issues there and all that. What was he going to go to LSU? Was that the plan? I think that was, but that didn't turn out right. So there you go on that. NCAA formally denying the petition for Ole Miss QB Trinidad Chambliss for another year of eligibility, and now he will have a hope for an injunction from a court in Mississippi to get him the year back. It seems a little arbitrary. Some kids get it, some kids don't. I don't know what the issue is there, but nevertheless, that's what we got. And Tennessee Volunteers QB
Joey Aguilar has a court issue a temporary restraining order to give him another year of eligibility. So here we go on that. Everybody wants eligibility, especially, I guess, with money at stake, right?
Seems like you ought to get 5 years. And even if you want to play 5 years, 5 years to play 5 years to play 4, whatever. Just give them 5 years. You can do whatever you want those 5 years, unless there's some rare exception. But the chaos continues in college sports. Let's go to MLB.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I saw this. This was a big story in the world of MLB. Tigers fucking free agent Framber Valdez. He's a good pitcher, good left-handed pitcher. 3-year, $115 million dealer, which comes out to $38.3 million per year. And they didn't want to give that kind of money, I guess, to Skubal, who is him and Skeens over there in Pittsburgh, the two best pitchers. Both those guys supposed to be in the World Baseball Classic that is coming up next month. So you wonder what's going to happen there. They've got an arbitration hearing. He wants $32 million. And what were they? They were only offering in the high teens.
19.
That's what it was.
19. Yeah.
Right. And he's really good. A kid from Kingman, Arizona. For all of you Arizona folks who've driven from Phoenix to Vegas, you know where Kingman is. It's about 100 miles outside of Vegas, sort of out in the middle of nowhere. A strange place to be from. Kind of a random place. Not really strange, but random. And he wants $32 million. My guess is the arbitrator is going to give it to him. We'll see what happens there. Okay, the People's Open up next.
Hashtag golf.
Waste Management. It's in Phoenix. The party time. Been there many times. Covered Johnny Miller. That was the last place he broadcast. He retired on a Friday because he wanted the weekend to be about the tournament. And I was there, covered it, talked to him afterward. Said he enjoyed listening to our show. DJ and PK said, I reminded him of him. I like to mix it up. And Johnny Miller was my little golf hero when I was a kid, when I was 14 to 15 years old, because he was really good back then. Did you see they had the Pro-Am? Did you see Travis Kelce, Yak? You see his swing?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So he tees off the first hole, and that's a pretty good swing. Then they get to 16. Obviously, that's the famous hole. And he puts a draw on it, and the announcer says, oh, that's going to be to the right, because that's what a draw does for the right-handed player, and then it curves in left. He sticks it to what? Maybe 4 feet away? No. Beautiful swing for Travis Kelce. That was fun to see, to watch him do that, to get up there and have that kind of swing. Now, we don't have any locals. Tony Finau's not playing in this one?
I don't believe so, which is strange, because usually he's played
He lives right down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go on to the Mammoth.
Hashtag NHL.
Puck rolls around the boards in the Detroit zone. Alex DeBrincat turned it over, turns the net, they score! And it's Jersey sneaking one in to make it 1-0, not even a minute in. Utah with a two-man advantage. Mammoth 2 for 4 on the 5-on-3 this year. In front, they score! And it's Nick Schmaltz once again. Gunther re-enters. Gunther speeding in on the backhand, shoots and scores! Dylan Gunther extends Utah's lead, and it's 3-0.
All right, and Clayton Keller added the other goal as the Mammoth. They win 4-1 Detroit. They're off for 3 weeks now, so they enter the break at 30-23-4. They're in the playoff. This time last year when they had the break for the Four Nations, 14 of the 16 teams who were in at that time actually got in. We'll see when we reconvene in 3 weeks if the Mammoth can hold their spot. They're winning enough games, they're avoiding big losing streaks, so it looks like they've got a decent chance. I would say maybe 75%, 80%. We'll see what happens. I don't want to jinx them. But right now it looks like they will be in and make their first playoff appearance in a good number of years, and obviously their first playoff appearance for the Mammoth here and the fans in Utah, right? That's pretty cool. What is Trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Okay, coming up right around the break, BYU defensive coordinator Kelly Papinga, and at 8 o'clock, Joe Millax, is that how you say it? Co-host of
Mullinax.
Locked On Grizzlies, Millax. And then at 9 o'clock, we'll do some hockey talk with our Utah Mammoth insider for KSL Sports. That's Cole Bagley. So stay with us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.